I'm grand, yeah, I'm fine. I just felt a bit dodgy on Friday night, but I didn't even, to be honest, with you, I didn't even think I was feeling dodgy. You know, you when you're preparing for a test match, at times you've obviously there's nerves and there's it's a big occasion. So I was I didn't even realize it until I started puking that I was, and I think what happens when these things happen are you kind of you use your mind to not allow it in as well. You know, you just convince yourself that you're feeling fine. You don't say it to anyone unless you're really struggling, obviously. But I was grand. I just once I got one out of me, I wasn't going to stop, or it wasn't going to stop until I was empty. So probably a wise decision to get me off, because if the ball came down my way at one stage, I wouldn't have been much use.
And in terms of Wales, the key learnings from that game last weekend.
Yeah. So there's loads of stuff. Obviously, we won't go through everything, but I think there is so much growth in the team in that we didn't actually play that well. We played quite well, but there's so much more in us, and it's properly exciting to come away with a good win. I know they went down to 14 men for 10 minutes and we took advantage, but we had a properly good win, a goodish performance with so much more to come. You know, the detail that we've looked at, even we were chatting in after the change room on how much better we can be is pretty clear for us to see in here. So there's a massive challenge. Obviously, this weekend's going to be a different animal altogether, and it's going to be a way tougher match, I suppose. And it's probably one of the most exciting places to go in the world, France in Paris. So we're excited. We're building now at the moment. We had a good training session today, and we'll put it all together tomorrow, hopefully, and be ready to go on Saturday.
Just a final question from me in relation to France and the threat they pose. I mean, pending selection, obviously, it's not too often that, you know, you come on, you go into a match like this on the back of scoring 2 tries, and the fellow that you could be up against this weekend scored 3. It's a kind of slightly unusual situation.
I wouldn't read too much into that. It's like, you know, like they're proper good team. They're proper, like, seriously good team. They got threats across the board, massive pack. They're very agile as well. They're well able to play ball, and then their backline speaks for themselves. You know, I could name all 7 of them. There's probably 14 of them I could name that can do serious damage. So it's going to be an unbelievably exciting challenge, and you know, it's going to be a tough match, but it's something that we're really excited for, because it's going to give us a really good idea of where we're at.
Just on your illness, were you okay for the captain's run, and when did it come on? How suddenly did that come on overnight, and how bad was it?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. As I said, it wasn't bad at all, really. No, I didn't. I wasn't aware that I was ill in the captain's run, and I just felt a bit off the day of the game. But I think with these games as well, they're big old matches, so you can almost put that down to nerves, which I did, genuinely. And then at halftime, I felt a bit dodgy again. But like at halftime, I felt dodgy at many half times, because you've had a fair bit of caffeine. There's been a lot going on. You're fatigued. You're getting that breath. And then it was genuinely a surprise to me. It was more when I look back on the day, and then the kind of previous evening. I was like, oh, maybe I was a small bit off, but certainly not a place to. I didn't even say it to anyone, you know, and it wasn't me thinking I was keeping it to anyone. It was just, I just didn't really think about it. So it was probably, it all looked a bit more dramatic than it really was.
Very good. And just on your try, I mean, it was really a super try from where we were. But when you say you were playing, you knew you had penalty advantage. I mean, if you didn't have the penalty advantage, would you still have felt you had the freedom to go on the outside? It was high risk reward, as in it was a try, or you were probably losing possession. Do you think that the way you play now, that you still would be encouraged, and you probably would have taken that option anyway, as opposed to cutting back inside, securing the ball, but coming up a couple of yards short?
Yeah, I think I think you just got to try and do what presents itself to you, and not necessarily think of whether we advantage or whether we didn't, you know. And I know I said that in the last one, that we had an advantage, so it gave me a bit more license. So you definitely have a slight bit more license for this advantage. But if we don't, I think you gotta have the balls to go and do what the right thing to do is at the time, and not just step back inside because it's easier and you want to retain ball. If I think I can score a try, and if I've been scoring those type of tries in training and beating those defenders in training, then that's probably my cue that, okay, you can go for it here. If I'm not, then there's your answer. You don't go for it, you know. So it's certainly one of those ones where it's tight, and you either come away looking like you're, or feeling like you've done the right job, or if you get bundled in, it's the wrong decision. So it's something that as wingers, you know, you want to be scoring those type of tries. They're the ones that really count for the team. So trying to just get those decision makings right is something that you're just constantly kind of making sure where your game is at, and you base your decisions off where your game is at the time.